Welcome back to another edition of the Old North State Sports Show. Folks, we are here today to continue part 2 of our series where we are dissecting the front office discussions that we heard from Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis. First video, Brant Tillis, depending on the order that you watch it, might be the second video, vice versa. But in this episode, we're going to break down exactly what we heard from Dan Morgan today, and I'll give you my thoughts and see if we got anything new that came out of this. So, as we mentioned, getting really at the end of free agency, so we got to hear from Dan and Brant on the state of the roster, knowing like high level where we sit heading in, knowing that there's still a few things that need to be addressed. Safety position, sounds like wide receiver may sit put for right now. Not that there's a lot of options, but continue to dive in. So in this episode, dive into Dan Morgan's revealing interview about the Panthers offseason draft strategy and broader vision for the team. Morgan provided a comprehensive overview of where the team stands, reflecting on free agency, the draft outlook, and the ongoing effort to build a competitive roster. So Morgan opened the discussion by expressing genuine satisfaction with the team's free agent signing and player retention. Quote right here, "We're excited about the guys that we acquired in free agency. We were able to retain some of our own and then extended Jaycee Horn." Again, the extension of Jaycee Horn opened up money. It set a foundational cornerstone piece for this team and, helps bolster the secondary and really primes, in my opinion, Jaycee Horn to be one of the leaders of this team and potentially a captain heading into next year. We'll let all this play out to see. This excitement was evident as he highlighted the importance of the extension again and what it means for the secondary, reinforcing their strategy. Of course, Mike Jackson brought in there, but Jaycee Horn the biggest one. The Panthers' approach to free agency was rooted in balance, although if we're being honest, a lot of it was defensive centric. We addressed clear needs while maintaining the flexibility to adapt. So Morgan noted, "I think what we did in free agency is really going to allow us to have some flexibility in the draft." What does that mean? Could mean wide receiver, could mean tight end, could mean edge, safety, linebacker. There is a lot of flexibility. The main thing was about adding competition to this roster. That was the whole point of this, primarily on defense. We know offense is what it is at this point. That's what the Panthers did. And as a fan of the team, you should be excited about that. And I know on the other video, when we talk about Brant Tillis and building brick by brick the foundation for the Carolina Panthers and how long is it going to take for this team to be competitive? How long is it going to take before this team can win football games? Hopefully this year we start to see the fruits of the labor, because I do have some confidence, I do have a lot of confidence in the trio of Dave Canales, Dan Morgan, and Brant Tillis and what they've been able to do. Much more than I did with Frank Wright or Matt Rule. I have not been confident really in a team here in Carolina since the Ron Rivera years. So this adaptability is essential given the unpredictability of the draft and desire to avoid reaching for players. And as he put it, we're not going to box ourselves in with any position or need. I think that's when you get yourself in trouble. Exactly. No need to box yourself into XYZ position at this pick. I mean, unless you're just stacking up and, reaching for a running back, or quarterback, which you don't really need at this point, very early, you're putting yourself in a really good position. And going into it, with an open mind, hey, we get pick 8, we're on the clock. There's an edge available. There's a receiver. There's a tight end, safety, again, a linebacker, whoever is there that we can look out and feel confident in knowing they can improve our team. They can start, and they're going to be a big piece to the future of the franchise and organization. Then, hey, let's do it. I think not boxing yourself in is probably the best thing the Panthers can do. One of the areas of concern that Morgan did acknowledge is the safety position. As I said, he did not shy away from the reality of where it is. This is his quote. "With that safety group, you've basically got a clean slate. Obviously, there's a lot of holes. That was the quote itself. So to me, the lack of depth at safety makes it a significant focus in the upcoming draft. I still believe it. We know about them bringing in 2 safeties earlier this week. At some point, they got to address it. It's going to happen. However, he also expressed confidence in the draft pool. There's a good crop of safeties in the draft, and we know it's a position we need to address. So you're not shying away. Safety, circle it on your board. If you're making your board at home, I would put safety on that list, linebacker, edge. Those 3 positions in need on the defensive side of the ball. But despite the needs, Morgan emphasized that the team is committed to a best of player available approach. When he was asked about the potential at pick number 8, this is what he said. When it comes to pick 8, whether it's an offense or defensive guy, we're just going to draft the best player, right out of the box. I don't know, Alex Zetlow, I believe, later on asked him about drafting a wide receiver at 8 and what that would mean, which I understand. A lot of people are going to wonder, are you going to get a wide receiver or not? The idea that they're open to drafting really the best available player. I mean, it demonstrates the front office's discipline. Got to prioritize long-term talent over reaching for guys. So open it up. Talking about the roster itself and the pursuit of playmakers, Morgan emphasized the necessity of adding players who can guarantee turnovers and game-changing plays. Man, you talk about that. This team needs it. They need guys that can get to the ball, turn over the ball. We need more production from the guys that are here. I love Jaycee Horn. I love Mike Jackson. Let's get some more turnovers. Secondary help over the top. Let's get some more sacks. We got to get a lot of stuff. Stop the run. This is what he said. We're going to look for players that take the ball away. And again, that's an emphasis for Dave Canales from day one. We've heard him talk about the ball. Who that is, I don't know, but we're going to be aggressive. This aggressive mindset is a part of their overarching strategy to build a team that not only competes, but also capitalizes on game-defining moments. One of the big upsides of this offseason has been on the defensive front and the defensive line. That was something that was emphasized. Quote from Dan Morgan, the more depth you have on the defensive line, the healthier and fresher your players stay. Absolutely. Got to have depth and rotation. Those guys are big. They're not built to be out there for 50, 60, 70 snaps, whatever it is, try and stop the run, getting to the pass rush, all that stuff. It's just not built for it. When you throw in guys like Bobby Brown III, it's part of the vision. And that's exactly what Dan Morgan said. He said, I think when you look at a guy like Bobby Brown III, his age and versatility made him a really compelling target. Having a rotational depth of young, versatile linemen not only strengthens the pass rush, but also stabilizes the defense against the run. Really good question got brought up by Mike Kay in regards to special teams, his philosophy on special teamers, late kickers, returners. How does he want to approach that? You know, you got your backups that are playing a role. So here we had backup safeties and other depth players that need to contribute beyond their positions when it comes to special teams. If it's a safety that's going to be our third or fourth, can he play special teams? That's going to be it's going to be big for all those back end guys. It is. This is the nature of the business, and is for me in year 2-ish of doing this stuff. Back half of your roster got to be able to play special teams. Special team players, extremely important. Panthers special teams unit last year was terrible. It absolutely was. I'm not even talking about the kicking game itself from Eddie Pinheiro. I'm just saying in general, the play with some of the guys and the coverage and the lack thereof, not good. So having guys that are able to cover, and play, they're on the back end of that roster. Good to have. Talking about the team strategy, Morgan acknowledged the challenges ahead while expressing, again, optimism. So he said, we're far from done. There's a lot of work to do, and we're excited about the draft with our 9 picks. Again, reinforcing the idea that the offseason is just one step to a larger picture. Folks are going to have OTAs coming up. We're going to have the draft. We're going to have rookie minicamp. Things are ramping up. Can you believe we are on the verge? You can't see it on my calendar right here. We're on the verge of March. We're on the verge of April. We're beyond that. You guys can't tell, but it's a laugh and a cough all in one. Overall, really nice, transparent interview, insightful in my opinion. I mean, nothing earth-shattering. You're never going to get the leaks of all the information that you'd want out of these, but it's good to hear from these guys. We hear from them a few times a year, so this is where we sit. Morgan summed it up best. It's key to our success moving forward to have the discipline to stick to our plan. Whatever this rebuild roadmap looks like, wherever the Panthers have set their sights, let's keep it going, keep it moving forward, continue the progress. As always, folks, this is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.